And that is a look at number 4, Roberta Holhouse, the libero, a 5A junior from Joppa, Maryland. We're underway. Porter. Bryn Porter gets the first point of the match. And it goes to BYU. Porter, a 5'10" outside hitter. That's a look at Erica Lott, who will be serving. Lott, as we mentioned earlier, a key component to Brigham Young. We talked about the Washington win, and Coach Watson told us that Lott was the reason they beat Washington. She kept them in there. And Lott will get to serve one more time as BYU takes a 2-0 lead. Service error from Lott, and that's exactly not what Coach Watson wants to see. He says they're going to have to serve big tonight against the Nittany Lions.
Well, they will have to serve tough, and part of serving tough is missing some serves every now and then, but they missed 7 in game 1 last night, and Coach Watson was not very happy about that.
First serve of the match for Penn State. Slaughter sets it up for Porter. Holhouse keeps it in play. Hodge. Porter again. And a pretty good combination right now, Slaughter and Porter here early on in game 1.
Well, Porter, she's in the 0-2 position, so she's not as relied on for offense as Chelsea Goodman is, but she's had 2 great swings here early in this match.
Already 2 kills, and you see she averages 2.77 per game. Porter serving now, and another service error, so Penn State's won its 2 points so far on BYU serve errors.
Porter has a little bit of a cross-body swing anyway, and that definitely affected that serve, pulling it right into the bottom of the net.
Megan Hodge, one of the players we keyed on in our open. We'll be seeing a lot of her tonight. She's a sophomore from Durham, North Carolina. Last year's National Freshman of the Year. Rachel Dyer for BYU will put it in play. Dyer, a 6'1" middle blocker from Encinitas, California. And the first outright kill goes to Krista Harmato, the Big Ten Player of the Year this year.
It was so fast. That ball was set so fast. Harmato is so quick and has a high reach. They can pass well and run that. It's just unstoppable.
Flash with the set. Lott. Saved by Hodge. Fawcett. And Penn State comes back to tie the score at 4.
Krista Harmato is just one of the team leaders. She's one of the captains on this Penn State team. She's Big Ten Player of the Year, and that's really impressive because she doesn't play the back row that much, and sometimes it's a lot harder to get votes when you're not a 6-rotation player, but she has been so unbelievable. She's 2nd in the nation in hitting percentage. She's just been phenomenal all year long.
Here's a look at another talented freshman, Ari Wilson. It seems like they always have one that stands out each season, and this year it's Ari Wilson.
Ariel Wilson just does a great job. The same set that we saw Harmato hit down the line, Wilson turns that ball cross court. Penn
State with its first lead 5-4, game 1. Best of 5-game match for a spot in the national semifinals. Hitting error as Holhouse checks back in. That's a look at Nicole Fawcett. And it will be Slaughter, the setter, serving for the Cougars. Wilson again.
What I like what Penn State's doing right now, they're really trying to get the ball over the left side hitters of BYU. Goodman's 5'11". Porter's 5'10". They don't have great size out there. When you throw these 6'4" middle blockers over the top, it's a huge advantage.
Hansen gets the kill for the Cougars. And you know, Kathy, last night, Michigan got out to an awful start. Fell behind 9-3. The crowd got in it right away, and BYU at least has not let this become a circus-like atmosphere early.
No, they're doing a great job of going right back and forth with them. They've had some terrific kills on their end, and I think they're sending a message right now that they're here to play and they're here to win.
Goodman with the serve. Wilson Wilson again. She's hot right now for the Nittany Lions. As Penn State takes another 1-point lead, already with 3 kills, as Wilson had. Fawcett with the serve. Net violation. And the point goes to BYU, 7-7. Ari Wilson, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. You just saw a good glimpse of her. Here's a look at Annie Penninger. Penninger, the senior that will be missed next year. She's their libero. Well, Wilson's on fire.
And if it ain't broke, don't fix it,
no.
right? They're continuing to pass well so they can set wherever they want. And clearly they're going to continue to force that slide out to the pin and make BYU stop it.
Blair Brown comes in for Wilson. This is Porter. There's the block, out of bounds. And the point goes to the Cougars.
And Porter has a little bit of that strange arm swing, and it can be hard to set up a block on someone. Looks like she's going to hit cross court, but she swings across her body, pulls it to the line, and that's why that block ricocheted out of bounds.
Erica Lott will put it in place. She's the current Mountain West Conference Player of the Week. Hodge, saved by the Cougars. Goodman from the back row. Hodge again.
Hodge swinging well right over the top of the setter, Amy Schlatter. And the first ball, Schlatter was able to ricochet up so BYU could play defense, but the second one just a little bit too hard off her hands.
Last night, Hodge with 15 kills at 355. Had more kills than anyone else on the team. And BYU looking very good early, 9-9. Each game is to 30, win by 2, unless we go to a 5th game, and that would be played to 15, win by 2. Jason Watson played at Brigham Young University, was an All-American for BYU. Porter to put it in play. Oh, what a block! Dyer and Goodman were there.
Well, part of PSU was going to continue to run that until they stopped him. So Goodman says, okay. You could see she got a really early release. As soon as she saw Hermata going back, she got out and got in front of her. And Jason Watson is saying, that's what I'm talking about, Goodman. You get out there and you put your hands in front of her.
Goodman only 5'11". Don't see her blocking that much. And another service error. 3 service errors now for BYU, 10-10. First time BYU has been to the regional final since 1998.
Oddly enough, in 98, they were right here at State College at the University Park region when they lost to Penn State. So this is familiar territory, certainly, for Brigham Young.
They also lost to Penn State in the 97 regional finals. And they won the regional final in 93 over UCLA, then lost to Penn State in the national semifinals. So Penn State has been a real thorn in BYU's side over the course of their volleyball tradition. The Nittany Lions, with their biggest lead of game 1 so far, 12-10.
Get a chance to look at that serve by Hodge, and she does a great job of getting a lot of topspin. In that one, she just did get enough of the top of the net to get it to go over.
Point to Penn State. Coach Watson, an Aussie by birth, but he's very mild-mannered. You really have to listen to hear him talk. And that hit Hodge, so the point will go to BYU, even though it was clearly going long.
I'm very impressed early in this match with BYU. They're just keeping their composure. They're not letting Penn State get any big runs. And the crowd has been pretty calm up to this point because there really hasn't been that much to celebrate.
Dyer will serve. She had 22 kills against Washington last weekend in that upset. Hansen, saved by Lott. Schlatter sets it. Porter can't find the opening. And Glass is there. Alicia Glass, a great story. She's become one of the best setters in the country, but she was a hitter in high school. Really had to learn this position.
She was a great athlete that set last year as a freshman. This year she is a great setter, and she has really turned the corner. A lot of that goes to assistant coach Salima Rockwell, who was a terrific setter here at BYU. She has mentored her and turned Glass into a terrific young setter.
Goodman with the kill. Chelsea Goodman, she will depart this program this year, and they will sorely miss her. As we told you, Coach Watson saying she is our team. They really look to her for emotion. Wilson. And BYU trying to get back in this. Penn State takes a 15-12 lead, and that will lead us to our first timeout. Coach Watson pondering what he must do to overcome Coach Rose's Nittany Lions. Quite a volleyball tradition here at Penn State. Penn State in its 11th regional final of the NCAA tournament. They have won a national championship. It was back in 1999. Coach Rose in Hawaii, obviously. He doesn't normally dress that way. Took on Stanford. And Penn State absolutely dominated this match, winning 3-0 for its first and only NCAA title. They finished that year 36-1. 1999, the last Penn State national championship. That was also the last time they were ranked #1 in the nation until this year. So that may be a good omen for the Nittany Lions. Penn State up by 3 as Glass puts it in play. And a little miscommunication there on the Cougar side.
That's one of the rare passing errors you're going to see Chelsea Goodman make. She's normally very, very reliable passing. That one got a little bit outside of her. She got a little careless with her platform.
And speaking of errors, Kathy, Brigham Young really has not committed any at all.
Well, they don't have a hitting error yet tonight, so that is impressive when you're able to play that kind of volleyball. And going into the game, everyone on this BYU team knows they're going to have to play their best match of the year if they're going to beat Penn State. And right now, they're doing it. You talk about maybe playing perfect volleyball. No hitting errors up to this point, so it's good news on the BYU side. Goodman will serve. We also talked about blocking would be a huge part of this match, and so far Penn State without a block.
Wow. But there are plenty of blocks on the BYU side of the net tonight.
That's a terrific,
Brown couldn't get it.
Sorry, terrific block by Erica Lott, the right side, employing a swing block, so she's kind of approaching out there, gets both hands over, and you can see her reach right into the zone where Fawcett was trying to put that ball.
And then the Lions up by 2. Goodman with the serve. Glass with the set. And the antenna was hit. So a break for Penn State. And as that set was a little tough for Fawcett to handle, but Penn State gets the break and the point. 17-14. Fawcett with the serve. Fawcett was the National Freshman of the Year last year.
She leads the team
2005.
Sorry, Sam.
Hodge was the National Freshman of the Year last year.
And she leads the team in aces and gets another one there.
Penn State up by 4, game 1. We'll be right back. Well, Penn State with a 4-point lead here in game 1 of this University Park Regional Final. And when we look at the stat sheet, Kathy, it seems like the numbers should be reversed based on how they played all season.
Well, I'll tell you what, BYU is doing a phenomenal job. Not many teams hit 421 at any point against Penn State, so their offense is really clicking, and a lot of that's because of their passing. But passing had just broken down. 3 aces on the Penn State side, but a costly service error there by Nicole Fawcett.
But just to give you an idea how much above the hitting percentage BYU is right now, they only hit 273 this entire season. And now hitting 421 to start this match. Penninger will serve for the Cougars. Wilson. Well, she's been the most consistent player. Unfortunately, she has to leave the court, and she's replaced on the front row by Brown.
Well, you can see, look at all that line that's exposed. As hard as Bryn Porter is trying to get out there, leaving way too much line for Wilson to hit.
What a dig by Holehouse. Under the net, and the point goes to Penn State.
Whole house showing some of her value right there. She's kind of the unsung hero of this team. They've got so many big players who are so great at the net, but Whole house is doing her job in the back row. A great server, a fearless defender.
Whole house with 3 aces last night against the Wolverines of Michigan. Porter, hot early. Penninger keeps it in play. Nice set from Lott. And a double hit by Hodge gives the point to the Cougars. Hodge, last year's National Freshman of the Year. Penn State has been to the regional final the last 2 years. This is 3 years in a row, but they've lost the last 2. No way. Can't save it from back there.
Going into this match, Jason Watson told us that they were going to try to serve Megan Hodge when they could. Try to put some pressure on her. Hodge's passing has improved. She's night and day different from last year as a freshman, this year as a sophomore, but still has, if you had a weakness in her game, that would be in her consistency passing.
Lott hits it out. And getting back to the Hodge story, Kathy, Hodge did not play well last year in the regional final against Washington, and you wonder if that's in her head a little bit in the same situation tonight for Megan Hodge.
Well, I don't think so. I think that was a freshman, and that she was on an opponent's home court, which is very, very difficult. Washington doesn't lose very often at home. Obviously, BYU got them, but it doesn't happen very often. Hodge struggled mightily. She had 17 kills, but 15 errors. Struggled passing in that match. But the year before, it was Nicole Fawcett struggling. When Tennessee won here, Fawcett had 19 kills, but 19 errors. And so each year, they've had a real key freshman struggle the past 2 seasons when they haven't made it past the regional final. The good news is that they're not freshmen anymore. These 2 key players, one's a sophomore, one's a junior, and I don't think they're going to have those same kinds of struggles.
And their big freshman this year, Ari Wilson, has started very well tonight. Penn State up by 4, trying to get to 30 to lock down game 1, but it's BYU with the serve. Porter puts it in play. Well, no, she doesn't. Third service error.
Porter needs to take care of that aspect of her game. If you have missed 3 serves all by yourself in the first game, that's not a good sign. She's doing a terrific job offensively, but needs to take care of the ball at the service strike.
Hodge commits a service error, and BYU will get one more chance.
Okay, that might get Porter off the hook a little bit, but not enough in my book. She needs to make sure she's taking care of it.
Hodge had 2 aces last night. It was a very aggressive serving night. In fact, Coach Rose telling us he had to tell his players to back off a little bit on the serve. Armato picks up the point for Penn State. Ari Wilson back in the match. Mr. Armato, also an academic All-American as well as Big Ten Player of the Year. Only 2 other women in college volleyball were Players of the Year in their conference and academic All-Americans. She's got a 3.34 GPA in elementary education. She's going to be a good teacher one day when her volleyball's over. There's Wilson again. Wilson now with 7 kills here early, and Penn State is within 5 points of claiming this first game.
Well, and they just don't have an answer. You can see with the way that they block, Penn State employs what we call a bunch read. So they bunch in the middle, and they try to get out to the outsides to block, but they've been very, very ineffective doing so against Ariel Wilson.
There's the block from Penn State.
Landed out of bounds, though, Sam, so it's going to be a point for BYU, and Goodman does a nice job of challenging the block high where it's not as strong and gets the advantage of the favorable bounce.
Goodman will serve for BYU, down by 4.
Fawcett just does a terrific job of hitting there. Takes the ball, it's a little bit inside, turns it down the line. Great job on Fawcett. You see 12 kills last night, 2 service aces, and she's well on her way to double digits again here tonight.
Well, this first game so important to BYU. The Cougars take a second timeout. This is not the only volleyball regional for you to see on ESPNU tonight. Catch every serve, set, and spike of the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship on ESPNU. Later on tonight at 9 Eastern, 10 seed California takes on 2nd seed Nebraska. The winner of that will get the winner of our match tonight. And then later on at 11:30 Eastern, number 8 UCLA meets the number 1 seed in the tournament, Stanford. The NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship presented on ESPNU by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And here's a look at your national champions from the last 5 years. Nebraska was ranked number 1 in the nation last year when the Cornhuskers won the NCAA title. Penn State, of course, trying to do that this year.
Well, Nebraska broke a streak by the Pac-10. Pac-10 had won 5 in a row, actually. Stanford won in 2001. So Pac-10 had something going. Nebraska stepped up last year, beat Stanford in Omaha. Definitely a pro-Nebraska crowd. This year, if Nebraska gets back, it's going to be in Sacramento. If Stanford gets there, you've got to figure that it's going to be a pro-Stanford crowd.
And the Pac-10 already with a good showing. They will have USC in the national semifinals later this week as the Lady Trojans took out Texas, sweeping the Longhorns earlier down in Gainesville, Florida.
That was somewhat of a surprise to me. I've seen Texas a couple of times this year, and they are as physical as it gets. But we talked about playing well at the right time. USC has been on fire the second half of the season.
USC will play either Stanford or UCLA. Penn State 3 points away from claiming game 1 as Fawcett will serve one more time. Fawcett with 40 aces this season coming into this match. And she had 40 aces for her entire career before this season started. So what a serving year it's been for Fawcett. Point to BYU. Pinniger will try to get the rally going for the Cougars. Wilson.
And I know we're talking about Wilson, and we're giving her the call all night, but Alicia Glass, the setter for Penn State, what a phenomenal job. She is putting this ball right in the wheelhouse. All Wilson has to do is be where she's supposed to be and hammer it home. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing with Alicia Glass.
And Holhouse's serve gets Penn State game point. Goodman with the off speed. Doesn't fool Penn State, but Quarters does. Found an opening. And the Cougars pick up the point and stay in game 1.
Well, Penn State's going to put so much pressure on you with their serve. And great job by BYU keeping that one in play. And then the savvy for Porter, chipping it right to the middle and keeping her team in this game.
Luck. Service error gives Penn State game 1. As these fans here in State College, Pennsylvania are thrilled. The Nittany Lions have taken the first game. We'll be right back.